Joe DiFrancesco here, innovator of Self-Coaching Masters. Happy Friday to you. I just wanted to, I changed my mind about what I was going to do today. So I would like to give you a little background on myself, but I want to relate it to the topic today that I think we should be discussing and we should be going over, and that would be gratitude. But I do want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. I won't fill you in with a lot of details, but I will give you some history of myself. I am 69 years old, and I got into personal development about probably 30 years ago, developed it around 27 years, started actively working in it around that time. But when I was a young kid, around 8 or 9, my mom was very, very sick and passed away, and my dad was a drinker. And for the next 4 or 5 years, I lived through that, and he passed away. But I got to live downstairs with my aunt and my cousins, who were like my brothers and sisters, because we all lived in the same house. So I was very grateful for that. And somewhere, I think around that time, my aunt and my grandmother instilled in me that, you shouldn't be looking at the things you don't have, because there are a lot of people that have less, but you should be looking at the things you do have and be thankful for that. And that was all said in Italian, so I'm just translating it into English. And I think that stuck with me through my whole lifetime, because as I went on in life, I just counted a few minutes ago, I have had about 9 or 10 or 11 different businesses with my wife, some successful, some not. And when I first got married, I was working, and I worked various jobs prior to that. And I was working a part-time job, my wife was working, and I started a door-to-door business in Manhattan, selling to restaurants, because that's what I just thought I should do. And it worked out well, and we did really well. We grew the business together. She worked with me, helping out, giving ideas, things of that nature. And I would go door to door and make deliveries and sell. And it was a small little mom and pop that grew fairly large. And then in the interim, we managed to buy another business out in Arizona, actually, and my older son was going to run that business. And we did really well the first year until the economic crash hit. And we lost everything. And I mean everything. Every investment, everything. Although we had grown the first year, the economic crash that nobody could predict or knew where it was coming from and how it even got there happened. And that took everything away from us, and I had to get back to square one. Luckily, we still had our little distributing business, and I was grateful, again, that I could go back to that business and rebuild it and earn an income. And that went on for a few years, and then 911 hit, and that took out about 60% of our business again. And I had to work my way through that, but I was very thankful that, unfortunately, I only lost one good childhood friend, but no relatives, no other friends were lost. And I was grateful that, although it was a tragedy, it didn't affect me all that much personally. It was only economically. But I had the opportunity to get back to work and build it back up again, which we did. Consequently, we did, but a few years later, Superstorm Sandy comes rolling in and takes out the better part of Manhattan, and we lost another 40% of our business. And then we were driving ahead, doing the same thing over again. And we went a few more years and built ourselves up. And, this is when I started getting involved in personal development. We had gotten involved also with another business in Brooklyn that failed miserably. But these things do happen. And through it all, I always maintained some feeling of gratitude. I may not have recognized it as gratitude. I may not have said that it was gratitude, but I felt good that I had something else and I had an opportunity and I get going. Shortly after that, after 911, around that time, my wife had gotten cancer. She is cancer-free. It was 5 years of nonsense back and forth. And we made it through that little thing. And I was grateful for that I still have her with me. And I actually got cancer 4 years ago, and I'm fine. And now here we are in another economic downturn and COVID, which shut my business down completely, with the exception of the coaching business. But our main business was that driving business that I started close to, I would say 40 years ago when I was young, when we first got married. And so I started thinking about what what driver, what is the thing that keeps me optimistic, motivated, trying to stay ahead of the game, always willing to learn and grow. And I think a lot of it, as a matter of fact, I know a lot of it has to do with being grateful. I learned to be grateful for even the smallest of things, for being able to be out in the sunshine and being able to get a cup of coffee, being able to enjoy myself. And it's not to say that I don't have stressors, or I don't have some anxieties at time, or money concerns, or any of those things in life, or professional issues, or calculations, or timing, or anything that anybody has in their lifetime. But I try to view the grateful side of it, that I'm grateful that I have this come into my life, and I'm grateful that I can explore and I have choices, and I'm grateful for the little things. And I began to notice that the gratitude that I had started to occur way back when I was a kid. And all these grateful moments, much as my aunt, my grandmother told me, build up. They build on top of themselves. It's one small gratitude on top of another, until you are a grateful person. And it is so instilled in you that nothing that happens can shake that gratitude. You'll always look to the optimistic, grateful side, and that will be your driver. And so I wanted to share just a little bit about myself. Obviously, I could have shared a lot more, but who wants to hear my whole life story? We all have our own stories. And so I implore you to, take your story and take a look at it, and look at the different times in your life where you had some difficulty. And what were the things that you were grateful for at that time, or could have been grateful for, that you can be grateful for now? And like, a house of straw doesn't last very long. Any wind, any storm, any adversity is going to knock it down. But a house made of bricks will pretty much withstand quite a bit. And that's what we're trying to do here with Self-Coaching Masters, with our group, is build a house of bricks to give you enough concrete information that you can have a solid foundation to move yourself forward, to be able to coach yourself. But I do feel that gratitude is an integral part of self-coaching. You need to be grateful about the things you do have, so that you can feel good about yourself, to drive yourself, to pretty much move kind of like on automatic pilot. When you're grateful, it also sets off a physicality, a good feeling of emotion in your body, which translates itself to motivation and excitement and feeling good, period, just out and out good, which is a lot of things people have not been feeling lately. They just don't even feel good, and they just don't understand why. And I think gratitude has a lot to do with it. So in this post, or somewhere in this post, my tech guy is going to put in, which we had put in once before, a gratitude exercise. And I would ask you to do this. It's a simple thing to do. You write down one thing you're grateful for every day. You add another the next day. Now you have 2 new ones, and then another, then 3 new ones, 4, 5, and so on. And you can carry it on for as long as you'd like. You can go a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I would say 2 weeks is the minimum. And you'll start to notice that when you do this, it builds upon itself, and it becomes a foundation of brick. It's not just a lot of clutter and chatter in your head that's moving around. You'll notice yourself starting to be able to begin to focus and think clearer, and it's all because you have a sense of gratitude. So I encourage you to download that free PDF that we're going to load for you, if it's not already loaded, or it's somewhere in one of the posts in our Facebook group. And please do it. You'll find yourself up and alive and moving, feeling well mentally and physically. And so I encourage you to post anything you'd like into our Facebook group, any question at all. It doesn't even have to do with gratitude. It could be anything about any issue, professional block, or anything you have going on. And again, I wanted you to tell you a little bit about my background, because I didn't want you to just think I was a PD, personal development guy with no history of any type of business, because I do deal with a lot of business professionals, and obviously you can read the testimonials, but I wanted to get the point across that I do understand from a business standpoint what it's like to run, operate, own, sometimes fail, sometimes be successful in business, since I've had about 9 different types of businesses, some related, some not. Again, please please download that PDF, work on your gratitude, have a sense and feeling of well-being. So thank you for listening. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you on the next live. Remember, invite yourself in to post anything you'd like, and I will RSVP, and some of our members will give you their input, and you might just have an aha moment. So again, thank you. Have a fantastic day. I appreciate you watching this vid.